Right, what's up, yins guys? I'm gonna do a video here while this stuff is fresh in my mind, because I even write a bunch of comments on other people's videos and my own videos, because like you almost want to write stuff down while it's fresh in your mind, because there's so much in the truth, and I wanted to do a video, an excuse to talk about this, and I'm gonna say this first because I wanted to make a video separately about it, but who knows where this video is going. But um, I am going to talk about the double standards and the hypocrisy and the totally, narcissistic, hateful, the way grown people that actually have respectable positions in these jobs, they tell you how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to look and how you're supposed to this or that, but yet they're grown men or even grown women. Well, it's in politics too, not just in workplaces. They're grown men and women, but yet they'll act just like the vengeful school kids, just like it turns into like when we all get older, they all get older. They act not much different than the vengeful school kids or high school kids. That's why even after you're out of high school, say you go to college for a little bit, whether you go right to college or whether you work in a factory like I did and try to go to college for a while or whatever. People in the workplaces act like school kids, and you go to college, they act like the same fucking school kids, and then they go and get in good paying positions and jobs, right? And a lot of times it's not because they're good at what they do or because they're top of their class. It's because of who they know or who they partied with and all that happy horse shit. And and then a lot of them get into politics since, and that's what's kind of fucking up this world in a way. But what I was going to say here too is what I'm getting at here is what I talked about in long-winded text to some of you people that you know who you are. The thing you see about this, whether it's on the radio, advertised on the radio or all other places, these reputation websites, these services like it used to be reputation.com or Reputation Defender. There's Reputation to Defender sites for these workplaces, right? Where they what they advertise, what they're really for. Like you'd really wanted to say somebody like you and me had a business or something, I mean, they can pull this shit. They can put you on the fucking the do not hire list or whatever the hell. They can say whatever they want about you, or you can't say anything about them. Like say somebody wants to champion the consumer, they can have it taken off the internet. That's what it's for. And not only that, they got not only the reputation sites, they got the fucking the prepaid legal shit. And I had friends that came and passed in my life talked about that prepaid legal. And it's usually for like, even though you even see the people about gay people and cross-dressers getting there, winning these lawsuits, right? Or even other races, right? And some of them do, you see some of it on the news, but look at how many of them people don't. Like says, some of us, like me, you have maybe black friends that really should have, that were wronged in workplaces, and somebody really should be defending them. They don't. You know why? Because some of these companies, sure, the ACLU protects some of them, and it makes big news. And only if they can, sue for a lot of money, they'll sue. And but you'll get, well, anyway, they get this prepaid legal. Some people you work for, they can do what the fuck they want, and like you can't sue them because it's like. Same way they pay protection money, like OSHA is supposed to be for your safety. My mother once worked for a place one time when she tried to work in a factory, and they laugh at her and say, "We own OSHA. You have these advertisements that you can pay this, and we'll get you up to speed. So you know that when OSHA checks, it's what they advertise it for. OSHA can check on you, right? And then they don't find nothing because if any of you guys know about OSHA." Say if you have one container or something that you can use that's stupid shit, like if you want to put a certain chemical like a thinner or a paint thinner or a solvent to clean something up, you put in a certain container they designed for that. If you don't label it, they can find a company a lot of money just for each item, literally. But that's what's so they want protection from being fined. But what they don't tell you is a lot of them can violate every fucking rule they want. It's actually there's a cover for a thing where it's act like it's to defend you, but it's working for the same thing. Like you pay protection money, we can violate every rule you want, and maybe in some cases somebody can lose an arm or a finger. And watching some workplaces what you can sign and all that stuff too. But hell yeah, fucked up saying just spitting this is up right out of the top of my head here. Yeah, how much more can I go on? Talk about like a workplace that I once worked for and all that. Like, I was going to say this in a separate video, but it didn't get timed out, but I will. There's a thing where, okay, I talked to some of you guys different ways about how one of the last places I worked for, how arrogant they are. They bullshit about violating safety rules. They can turn up the heat and accuse you of such. I had things aside from the other things I got fired for that are just common things that you do every day in a workplace, like picking up a fucking pallet. And everybody knows there's these really light pallets that your neighbor's little niece or nephew can pick up with one hand like this. And there's the heavy ass pallets that you may have to roll. You can understand that, and they can tell you, oh, don't throw your back out, or they can warn you you get fired because they don't want to get sued. But it's just like I told you before. But there's another thing there too, that they are overdoing this shit. Now they want to turn the heat up and harass you. And then the reason why I told the Department of Labor, and the Department of Labor all of a sudden was yelling at me. So there's your gang stalking there. They have you on a list if you run your mouth too much. And well, my thing is, I fucking worked for scrapyards, things picking up metal, pallets, demolition stuff outside and shit. And I was worked with a guy that drives a high lift machine, with a big bulldozer bucket. The wheels are fucking high as you and me are. And I worked with this guy. He told me, away these heavy pallets, we stack them in the bucket. He'd take it, and then there'd be a big chipper. He'd take them and shred them up. We'd go through the roll-off dumpsters or front loaders that they dump, take the metal out, take the pallets. So I was used to working in shit like that, where you can. The other place that gets fired for, there's a thing where I was telling you in a video before, where you walk around too proudly in a workplace. Oh, it's hurting somebody's feelings. Somebody has different abilities to you, and then they hate you for some reason. And then I even told you, oh, I rode a bike to work. They didn't like that. And I had every couple of days, literally, the bike tires being flat. But yeah, I worked in a fucking workplace like that, where you're picking up pallets. They show you how to pick them up, and then when they're fair heavy, roll them right up. I mean, that's fucking normal as far as I'm concerned. And I worked briefly for personnel service in a place called Ibis that did the armor for these army trucks. They had the guy sandblasting the metal, and then you take it to the guy in the painter's booth. But before you hook them on these hooks in the carts and roll it in there in the paint booth. And people looked at me kind of funny and gave me dirty ass looks and asked little comments. And I did do a little fitness stuff that I endorse during lunch break too, there a little bit, and I get dirty ass looks. But unlike them, the doors for the army trucks, picking them right up, putting them on the hooks, just like that. And then I'm just there, in a few days. But I'm used to picking up shit anyway. And oh, how dare you start getting good at it without experience? You just get in here. They don't see that maybe you've been somewhere before. And like the other metal, I'm picking them up just like. I mean, fuck! I trained with metal objects in my YouTube videos, and this. Well, they have ways of finding out, even though you don't tell anybody, and they make a remark about it. But yeah, that company made my TV news that it's national company. I have had a division of it that's not too far from me, but it made the news that a couple owners, a couple high-ranking people in that company got in trouble with the government and going to jail for a long time because they were overcharging the government. You know what I mean? So it wasn't the division next to me, but I heard about it in the news. But anyway, some of the people I worked next to were okay, but you had these ones giving you dirty last looks and everything else like that. I could tell you, you know, they were a diverse crowd. Some people were pretty cool, but some people were not, like shit starters. Like this, I could tell you a couple, like one, this skinny little dude with a cross around his neck and t-shirt and shorts, you know, with these little arms and these little sleeves, walking around with shorts with the pockets in them, and skinny neck and a cross around him, and he some kind of Christian of some kind, but he don't act like one, and gives you this look, walks right up to you and asks you these ignorant questions, you know, and they know you're just a person of personnel. You just like want to bitch slap. Not like some of the better Christians that I know, and I talk a lot about parts of religion that I don't like, but yet there's some people that I met that are all right, and I worked for charities before. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to say in a nutshell, yeah, I work little construction jobs here and there, and I go to these different places now. It's really cool, and some of them are. When I go further, it's next to me, and if I find a location to do a fitness video, I'll do that too along the way. And I like the freedom that way, even though you don't always get a larger amount of money. But yeah, a certain people, they have, like I said, the reputation websites and the prepaid legal, and the OSHA thing, where what they claim it's for, but yet it's used to harass regular people like you and me, or you could be put on a do not hire list because you asked a simple question and smarted off to a person. Like the one place I got fired for, I asked him a question when he came up to me, and I just asked, and he accused me of, quote, going off on him. Going off on somebody I always thought was raising your voice and swearing, ranting and swearing. I just asked a question. It was a sarcastic tone, but he goes and tells everybody. And then they say it just because they think you're going to raise your voice. That's another tactic. And, oh, you're, quote, going off. They know that you might raise your voice, but yet I didn't fall for it. And I'm like, what do you mean going off on me? I'm asking you a simple fucking question. You're not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Do what we say. Lay down and take it. Do not talk. Listen. Don't try to ask a question after we dismiss you. I said, do not talk. Listen. Even after we are finished and we're ready to dismiss you from being called in the office, it's still do not talk. Listen. Oh, I still didn't say you can talk. Yeah, you run your mouth. Hey, we run this bitch. Your ass will be homeless and destitute, and if we don't like you some reason, you never know. Yeah, we're subconsciously, maybe we're hoping that you would bitch slap or hit or do something violent. Like you see that on the news, but subconsciously these people hope somebody will do something because they were almost risk life and limb like some kind of martyr so they could be on the news. Oh, this person was so crazy. And subconsciously, I think some of these people want that shit that happens on the news. And like some of you, I watch your videos, you see that truth, and they want to kind of egg you on and put it in your head or sneakily suggest it or some kind of thing, or like yeah, it's almost like they're almost saying, oh, we fucking hope you do. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like we want to throw you into the prison that we wish the hell you would be anyway. But if we had the democratic socialist government that we really wish for, that we could have like North Korea, we don't need to hire you. We could make you a prisoner, like a political prisoner, like maybe make this country like North Korea. They don't like you, you have a free thinker. Throw you in prison, have prison labor. And even though Alex Jones may be far-fetched, he might be partially right about that. There's a lot of fucking people that want that shit too. You know what I mean? From the day you're born, if you're a certain dysfunctional household, you're asking a question or do as I say, not as I do, or you're running your mouth, or you're being smart. Don't question authority. They always use that it's even used on some people in the streets. Like if you got a couple different groups on the streets that don't get along, it's almost universal in a lot of cases. Don't be smart. Don't get smart. Matter of fact, your parents put you into school not really to learn. It's like in the story of your enslavement video, it's indoctrination pens. It's the indoctrination pen or way to get rid of you while they can sit there and smoke and you have the dysfunctional household. And but if you have a good household and your parents are all cool and you're in a good church too, even though I bash certain parts of religion, God bless you, more power to you. But nothing in this world is as it seems, and it gets like even in the so-called looks like a Christian household, it ain't shit ain't always like it. Sometimes it is and sometimes it ain't. You know what I mean? You got to live your life so you can't be accused. Still try to do good, but remember the camera eye is watching. Unlike everybody else that uses what I say to try to do criminal activity. Oh, let's go steal. They don't give a damn about us. But now anymore, don't fall into that trap either. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all like a battle of wits, and these people are like masters of the spoken word, you know. My song, one of my favorite songs by the band Coroner, Mask Jackal. Manipulator of the purse strings, master of the spoken word, jackal with connections. Worshipped by the masses, leader with ulterior motives. And that's almost like something that I can say in a video later where you got these people on TV. How do you know any of them who they say you are? You know, everybody you put on a pedestal. Leaders, shepherds with ulterior motives. Some are good, and some not. You know, just like when, not to endorse religion or be a Bible thumper, I read everything because I have the right to. The Book of Enoch said that there'll be many different houses, some good, some evil, without number. Some are good houses, some are bad, but many without number, literally, in the end of days. But that almost dovetails into how all this money we work for is all fake. You know? Somebody wrote on Facebook a thing, don't bust your ass for a job, which they will, not to be lazy, but bust your ass and ruin your body for a job that they'll get rid of you as soon as you're worthless, run you into the ground. But, you know, I don't want to give it as an excuse to be lazy either, but that's what the fuck it is, you know what I mean? I mean, they're strong and smart enough to do the work, but don't do it too arrogantly, like you can do it gracefully. You have to be busting your ass, jerk that back around. If you're not, they'll turn up the heat on the job. If you can do a job like faster, you get these dirty looks. They want you to sweat it, you know, or turn up the heat on you. Oh yeah, we can use a couple other people. This is actually the work of a couple other people. But if they know you're able to do it, oh yeah, turn up the heat on you, and it depends on the flow of the work. You could be doing the work of 4 people, but if the workflow, more stuff comes in, you may be keeping up, but then when there's more work, it's like you can't fucking do it. And then they're like, and then you can work for somebody for a bunch of time, and they're looking for a fucking reason to call you lazy. They it's just like parents, people with authority over you. You know, the certain preachers, always the ones that try to tell you about work ethic and all this other happy horse shit. None of them motherfuckers even had the guts to walk in the rain, walk in the mud. Whether walk home, it has to be a car, a fucking SUV. What the fuck do they? Who the fuck is anybody there to tell you? Get there, and some of them got big bellies. They're all dressed up. They all have SUVs, private airplanes. Maybe a couple of you watching will probably walk somewhere, a couple of us in the rain together or in the mud, and be all drenched. Oh no, they're too good for that, you know. Oh yeah, they'd be like, I told even my own mother that one time. It's like, oh, I wouldn't go that far. Well, the fucking prophets in the Bible, they went in the desert, in the weather, and different things like that. The very religions, like the prophets that they speak of, that they're in their fancy clothes now and overpaid, telling you that shit. You know what I mean? But then you got then the secular daddy is another fucking. You can make a whole video too on the secular daddy. You know what I mean? But you have a few good people in each side. Then the secular daddy that doesn't like religion is just as bad. You know, and then you get the ones where you get smart. You could either get beat up. One side will block you from making a living, maybe have you thrown in jail. Another side could, in some cases, have you beat up, or some cases arrested. But they're more inclined on like the religious side. They have the mafia-like side to it. That everybody pretends just because they're in a church. They're just as who the hell some of them are outside of there. The ones that beat their wives and then end up having their wives put PFAs out on them and end up shooting their wives. Look where some of them are in these respectable positions and getting indicted. I think it goes on. And they always blame the little guy that they want to look for wrong in, just to make themselves feel better,